Miles above the Earth, an unmarked plane flies silently. Suddenly, the sky erupts with the roar of two F-16 fighter jets locking onto their target. No warning, no communication, just two warplanes moving to intercept. Then a single voice commands, "Stand down, she flies for me." This is where authority isn't granted. It's forged in quiet. Captain Alex Phantom Miller's F-16 sliced through the morning sky, a routine patrol underway. A radio call cut through the calm. Eagle Tower to Phantom 1, unknown civilian contact. Unidentified aircraft approaching restricted air corridor. Immediate visual confirmation needed. Phantom veered, his focus sharpening. Civilian planes sometimes strayed, but as he closed in, a small, single-engine Cessna appeared, conspicuously unmarked. No tail number, no company logos, nothing. He slowed, matching the Cessna's surprisingly steady speed. Through his cockpit, the pilot was clearly visible. A woman, calm, her attention fixed on her instruments. No signs of distress, no frantic movements, just a smooth, unwavering path directly towards a highly sensitive military exclusion zone. Eagle Tower, Phantom 1 here. Visual confirmed on unmarked civilian aircraft, likely a Cessna 208. Single female pilot, no visible registration, no response to our hails. Courses directly into red zone airspace without authorization. His wingman, Captain Sarah Stinger Chen, offered a thought. Could be an amateur, Alex. Someone who missed the airspace warnings. Phantom tried the emergency frequency, the one all civilian aircraft must monitor. Unidentified aircraft. You are entering restricted military airspace without authorization. Alter course immediately and return to civilian flight quarters, or prepare to be escorted to the nearest authorized landing facility. This is your final warning before mandatory compliance procedures. The Cessna held its course, unwavering, completely ignoring his transmission. Phantom's fingers hovered near the master override, the controls for more aggressive action. The situation was escalating rapidly, and standard procedures were running out. Something about the pilot's unflappable calm felt profoundly wrong, unlike any typical civilian airspace violation he'd ever encountered. It wasn't reckless, it was unnerving precision. He considered Stinger's suggestion of a visual deterrent, a more direct approach, but a strange instinct held him back, a feeling that this was different, deeper. The small plane continued its silent, inexorable advance toward forbidden territory. Phantom's unease intensified. The civilian Cessna was now seconds from breaching the restricted zone. "Stinger," the radio crackled. "Prepare for an intercept sweep. We'll try a visual deterrent." Stinger confirmed, her F-16 shifting subtly into position for a show of force. Just as Phantom reached for the control to authorize the maneuver, his secure military communication system blared with a high-priority alert. This was not Eagle Tower. It was not a tactical frequency. This was a direct, encrypted override, originating from the absolute highest levels of military command. A voice, calm yet radiating absolute authority, filled his headset. "This is General Elias Thorne, Joint Operations Command. Phantom 1, confirm visual on aircraft approaching grid Alpha 9 Charlie." Phantom stiffened. General Thorne's name commanded immediate respect across every branch of the armed forces. His personal involvement in what seemed like a routine civilian intercept signaled something far more significant. "Yes, sir. Visual confirmed on Cessna 208, single female pilot, no identification," Phantom reported, his voice crisp and precise. General Thorne's voice, now steel-edged, cut off any potential questions. "Do not engage that aircraft. Repeat, stand down immediately and maintain observation distance only. She is authorized for unrestricted access to that corridor." Phantom hesitated, his training clashing violently with the unprecedented order. "Sir, she's operating without a flight plan. No transponder beacon, no communication with air traffic control." General Thorne's tone hardened further. "Captain, I did not request a compliance report. I issued a direct order. She is cleared for unrestricted flight operations in that airspace. End of discussion. Silence fell over the communication frequency. Stinger's private transmission broke through. Did he just say, cleared? How is that even possible? Phantom pulled his F-16 back, creating more distance. He scrutinized the silent Cessna again. This time, his enhanced systems highlighted a small, dark device on the Cessna's instrument panel. It was no civilian navigation tool. It was a military-grade override transponder, the kind Phantom had only encountered in classified briefings, used only for highly sensitive top-tier operations. The realization struck with chilling clarity. This pilot wasn't lost. She was operating under an authority that superseded all normal rules. Within hours of the perplexing intercept, word spread like wildfire through Eagle Air Force Base. Pilots, crew chiefs, and communications officers buzzed about the ghost plane, an unmarked civilian aircraft personally cleared by General Elias Thorne. No pilot identity had been provided during the radio exchange, no official explanation for the extraordinary circumstances. However, someone in base operations, driven by sheer curiosity, initiated an unauthorized database search using partial tail number information glimpsed during the encounter. The results fundamentally reshaped everyone's understanding of what they had witnessed. Her official call sign was listed, Spectre 7. Her most recent assignment, Joint Special Operations Flight Command, Fort Carson, Colorado, with a special flight access classification of Tier Alpha, the absolute highest clearance level available within military aviation operations. Pilot identification, Major Lena Spectre Petrova, retired, United States Air Force. Once her identity leaked, rumors exploded, spreading faster than any official channel could verify. Heard she flew Black Ops insertion missions deep into hostile territory, a maintenance sergeant claimed during an evening shift briefing. My buddy in Special Operations says her aircraft once took direct hits over the Sahara, but she flew at 300 miles back to base with half an engine and no navigation, added a communications specialist. Word is, she personally designed the stealth protocols for deep penetration missions, contributed a seasoned crew chief. One particularly grizzled veteran sergeant, with 2 decades of active service and deployments spanning 4 different conflicts, offered his blunt assessment. If General Thorne personally intervenes to protect her flight, she's not just cleared for that airspace. She's protected by people who understand exactly what she's capable of accomplishing. Captain Miller kept his own counsel for the rest of his duty shift. The encounter continued to occupy his thoughts. He had managed to capture a single, high-resolution photograph using his F-16's heads-up display camera system, a clear image showing the mysterious Cessna in the foreground with his F-16 visible in formation behind it. It was taken at the precise moment he received orders to stand down from what he had assumed would be a routine civilian intercept. The next morning, Captain Miller printed the high-resolution photograph. Without a word, he pinned it to the central bulletin board in the squadron briefing room, a place every pilot would see during their daily briefings. Underneath the image, he attached a handwritten note that would soon become legendary within the fighter wing. Next time you think you own the airspace, remember to check who else might be flying silent. The photograph became an unofficial teaching tool, a constant reminder to pilots that not every situation could be resolved through standard intercept procedures, and some aircraft operated under authorities far outside normal civilian aviation regulations. 1 week following the Cessna encounter, Captain Miller received an unexpected summons. He was to report directly to General Thorne's office for what was described as a routine operational debrief regarding recent airspace management protocols. Miller anticipated a formal reprimand for questioning orders during the intercept, or at least a detailed review of his decision-making process during what had clearly been a more complex situation than initially understood. Instead, when he entered the general's private office, Thorne simply gestured toward a comfortable chair and poured 2 cups of fresh coffee from a thermal carafe on his desk. This informal hospitality was typically reserved for respected colleagues, not junior officers being disciplined for procedural violations. "You executed your duties exactly as trained, Captain," Thorne began without preamble. "You followed established protocols, maintained appropriate caution, and responded correctly to changing circumstances. But now, I want to provide you with context about what actually occurred during that encounter. The general opened a classified file folder and spread several documents across his desk, allowing Miller to observe them without being able to read specific details. Major Petrova operates under special authorization protocols that supersede normal flight planning requirements. No advance notice, no scheduled operations. When we require her services, she receives unlimited airspace access. No questions, no bureaucratic delays. Period. Miller nodded respectfully, his curiosity obviously engaged. Sir, may I ask what makes her authorization necessary? General Thorne's expression shifted, showing something that could only be described as professional admiration mixed with sobering respect. Because she has successfully completed aviation missions at altitudes and under conditions that would cause most experienced military pilots to request immediate emergency landing procedures. The classified file was closed and returned to the general's secure storage without additional details. That brief conversation represented the final official word regarding Spectre 7's operational status. Major Lena Spectre Petrova's story became legendary at Eagle Air Force Base. Her photograph, permanently framed on the squadron bulletin board, served as a powerful reminder. When new pilots asked why visual identification of unmarked civilian aircraft remained crucial, instructors simply pointed to her image. The caption beneath it read, "She didn't require standard clearance. She was the reason clearance protocols existed." This story, like many others, highlights a crucial truth. True aviation mastery isn't just about technical flying skills or strict adherence to regulations. It's about a deeper understanding, forged through experiences that cannot be replicated in training simulators or classrooms. Such individuals operate in the shadows, where performance is measured not by certification standards, but by the successful completion of missions most people will never even know occurred. For more stories where silence cuts through bureaucracy and quiet competence rewrites operational protocol, subscribe to Quiet Soldier Stories.